Greenlam Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks with me, Zakka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio presented by Greenlam Laminates. The gloves are off between the BJP, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. Ahead of the Delhi elections, the BJP has accused the Aam Aadmi Party of flooding in people and resources from Punjab in a desperate bid, in fact, to win the Delhi election. The MHA has written to the Delhi police flagging off what it called the inordinate number of cars from Punjab with Punjab registration that are entering Delhi, and this, the MHA reckons, is a security risk ahead of Republic Day celebrations later this week. In fact, many of these cars are being alleged to be used as part of the Aam Aadmi Party's campaign. Remember, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann and a whole bunch of other AAP leaders from Punjab have been camping and campaigning here in the national capital, hoping to make the Aam Aadmi Party win a fourth term. The Aam Aadmi Party has hit back saying, what's wrong? After all, Punjab is a part of India. And this reflects an anti-Punjabi mindset. But that is, frankly, a side story. The real story that is happening is what's happening in the India alliance between these two alliance partners, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. They seem to be having what, on the face of it, looks like a friendly fight, but if you scratch the surface, it's not so friendly a fight. Arvind Kejriwal yesterday saying the Congress is fighting the Delhi elections not for the Congress to win, but to help the BJP win. While the Congress's most strident critic of the Aam Aadmi Party, Ajay Maken, was deployed for the first time in a press conference where he came out and exposed what he called massive mismanagement of hospitals under the Delhi government when COVID happened. He has now threatened to not stop at that he has threatened to expose one scam after another about the Aam Aadmi Party government every single day in the run-up to the 5th of February when Delhi votes. So clearly what's going on here between the BJP and AAP on the face of it, and also certainly behind the scenes, what is happening between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. It seems like it is all guns blazing and the gloves are off, well and truly, for the Delhi elections.
अब कांग्रेस बीजेपी के साथ मिलके कांग्रेस कोई दिल्ली में सीट जीतने की लड़ाई नहीं लड़ रही। कांग्रेस दिल्ली में आम आदमी पार्टी को हराने के लिए लड़ाई लड़ रही है बीजेपी के साथ मिलकर।
ये केजरीवाल नहीं, ये फर्जीवाल है। और जो दूसरी बात मैंने कही कि ये क्यों राष्ट्र द्रोही हैं, देशद्रोही हैं, वो भी चुनाव से पहले उसकी भी अलग से इसी प्रकार से प्रेस वार्ता करके उसको भी मैं यहाँ पे खोलूंगा, यहाँ पे आप लोगों को बताऊंगा।
आज सीओजी रिपोर्ट ऑफिशियल आया है, वो 4 साल से छुपा रहे हैं, दबा रहे हैं, यानी सच से कितना डरते हैं। अपने पापों का हिसाब जब देश की जनता जानेगी। आप दिल्ली की जनता को बताएं कि भाजपा सरकार बनते ही सबसे पहले सीएजी की रिपोर्ट को विधानसभा में पेश किया जाएगा।
All right, let's go straight across to our political spokespersons who are joining us at the top of Brass Tacks. Shazia Elmi, National Spokesperson of the BJP, and Anmol Pawar, Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Gautam Seth, Spokesperson of the Congress Party, is joining us. Anmol Pawar, from the Prime Minister downwards, they're all attacking your party, the incumbent party in Delhi. The PM, in an address to booth workers today, said that, look, the CAG report has been lying around for months, and yet the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi was afraid of submitting it in the Assembly because it opens really a can of worms as to what all has happened under Arvind Kejriwal's watch here in Delhi. How do you respond to what the BJP and the Prime Minister are accusing your party of?
Good evening, Zakka. It's been more than 30 days. We have been asking the Bharatiya Janata Party that who's their CM face. Gali Galoj Party ka CM face kaun hai, but they still, even 10 days before the election, they still don't have an agenda, any narrative or a CM face. That is why they are resorting to maligning the image of Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, which they have been unsuccessful in doing so in the past. They have filed numerous cases against the Aam Aadmi Party leaders. More than 250 cases were filed in the last 10 years, and in almost 95% of the cases, The Honorable Court has wrapped the investigative agencies, the ED, CBI, Income Tax and the Delhi Police, saying that not even prima facie cases made against them. And
But
even in
Anmol,
the so-called
most
liquor
recently the
scam,
Delhi High
Honorable
Court,
Supreme Court,
the
the Honorable-
Delhi High Court, looking at the case of what happened in the Chief Minister's official residence previously said and asked the same question that's being asked by the BJP. Why haven't you submitted the CAG report in the assembly? It in fact even castigated the speaker for not calling a session and submitting the CAG report in the assembly. This is the Delhi High Court.
Mr. Zakka, we have already stated before the Honorable Delhi High Court the fact is that the matter is still sub judice, and as far as these CAG reports are concerned, we invited the national media to the Sheesh Mahal, wherein we invited the Bharatiya Janata Party also, that they are spreading the lies and fake narratives about that golden toilet and all these kind of stuff. But they are the ones who ran away.
Okay.
They are the ones who didn't accept the challenge, and it is for the people of Delhi and the whole nation to see that how Bharatiya Janata Party, when they are agenda-less, when they have no mission, when they have no vision, when they have nothing to showcase as to what they have done in the last 10 years, they resort to all these dirty politics.
Okay,
but
so this
it
dirty
won't work
politics,
as it has not
Shazia
worked in the
Ilmi,
past.
please
So
respond. MHA has today written about this vehicle influx from Punjab. Punjab is still very much part of India. Why can't certain Punjab registered vehicles come into Delhi? After all, you send Prabharis from different states to
Yes.
states to fight elections. What's wrong with a bunch of Punjab registered cars coming into Delhi for campaigning?
So sure. But I'll come to that. You asked him a very important questions about CAG reports not being tabled. The same CAG which has been used by Aam Aadmi Party, and before that his earlier avatar of it being India against corruption. And it was used, and that's how Arvind Kejriwal became the Chief Minister of Delhi. It is ironical that the same CAG report, which now talks about 2,026 crores of irregularities and actual loss to the exchequer, Delhi exchequer, the same exchequer which is the middle classes tax, and which actually is responsible for the well-being of the Delhi citizen. Can you imagine that this party now refuses to table that CAG report? And not just that, moving from that, he was asking me just now, and he deflected the issue and talked about who will be the CM face. Now, who is their CM face? Because Kejriwal can't be the CM. The Supreme Court has clearly said that he cannot sign any files, he cannot go to the secretariat, he cannot influence the scope of inquiry and investigation in the ongoing investigation, for which now there is a go-ahead. So I'm very curious about who will be their CM face.
No, but
Will it be
Shazia,
Atishi
answer my
again?
question.
Will it
This
be
whole
Saurabh Bharadwaj?
controversy
Nobody knows that.
around
And now
cars
coming
from
to your question,
Punjab,
I'm coming to you. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So the reason why this is being flagged, because there are large number of cars that are coming in, it has nothing to do with Punjab per se and Punjabi per se, as cleverly being spun out of context, and again to create some kind of rumor mongering in which these folks are really good. It's also to flag that before 26th January, there is a lot of activity, there are a lot of cars coming in, and when it comes to Kejriwal and the lot, they can stoop to any level, they can go to any lengths.
Okay.
Kejriwal knows that his back is to the wall, and we've seen what has happened. And in the guise of farmers farmers movement and protests, there were those elements, and what they did on Republic Day. We all saw that. So you can use the name of farmers or Punjab.
By the way, the same farmers, I think about 100 of them have been called for talks with the central government starting next month. Daliwal, who was leading that protest, has been urged by the courts to call off his fast, and the centre has given him an assurance that they will speak to him. But anyway, be that as it may, let me go to Gautam Seth, because some side story seems to be happening between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. Yesterday, Mr. Kejriwal saying Congress is actually fighting the Delhi elections not to win, but to actually make the BJP win. Now, I thought you were allies in the India Alliance. And two, today, your leader, Mr. Makan, has been fielded for this alleged corruption scandal that happened when COVID hit Delhi. He has threatened one corruption scam after another every single day up until the Delhi elections on the 5th of February. Why didn't you do this 6 months ago when you were fighting together? Why didn't Mr. Markan come out with these exposés 6 months ago? COVID happened 4 years ago.
You see, Zakka, the mountain of lies on which the Aam Aadmi Party was built has boomeranged back to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's face as a truth of corruption and his own misdeeds. It is not something that we are saying. It is something that is on paper for everyone to see. They keep on screaming, Sheesh Mahal, we were taking the media and the BJP for them to see. Why were you doing an event management there? You could have approached the court that the PWD is misleading the people of the country, but they will never take a legal course. They will only do marketing and event management. If not Kejriwal, then who? I want to remind Mr. Anmol Pawar that the mismanagement done by Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi has also seen a more successful chief minister in the face of Mrs. Sheila Dikshit. And as far as the Punjab claims by the Bharatiya Janata Party have been made, I would like to very strongly assert it further that even our own candidate from New Delhi contesting against Mr. Kejriwal, Sheila Dikshit ji's son, Mr. Sandeep Dikshit, approached the Delhi police, approached the governor by saying that the intelligence units of the Punjab government are being misused to keep a track on him. So the question to Mr. Kejriwal is not about the citizens of Punjab. He has this habit of, twisting and turning words, picking up what he likes, leaving what he does not want to pick up. But let me remind Mr. Anmol Pawar that this time it's not going to work like that.
No, but Mr. Seth, please tell me who is your enemy number one in Delhi? Are you taking on Aam Aadmi Party or are you taking on the BJP? Mr. Gandhi,
Zakka,
while campaigning a few days ago, said Mr. Modi and Kejriwal, there's no difference.
Zakka, this is a state election. Who is in government in Delhi from the last 11, 12 years? Who are we going to question? We are going to question the party who is into government. We are going to question the party which came with a mountain of promises and delivered none.
So your primary enemy, your enemy number one in Delhi is Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party. Anmol Pawar, please respond. This is your ally. This is not the BJP spokesperson. This is the Congress Party spokesperson.
Sheila Dikshit ji ki Delhi. They have ruined Sheila Dikshit ji ki Delhi.
Anmol.
Mr. Zakka, first I'll respond to what has exactly happened today. Today, the Bharatiya Janata Party has stooped to a new low by calling the Punjabis as threat to nation. They blatantly insulted the sacrifices, the patriotism and the dignity of the Punjabis by branding them as terrorists. इनके नेता प्रवेश वर्मा ने सुनिए क्या कहा आज. I'll just play the video for 15 seconds.
हजारों की संख्या में यहाँ पे पंजाब के नंबर की गाड़ियाँ घूम रही हैं. उनमें कौन लोग हैं? यहाँ पे 26 जनवरी को मनाने की तैयारी चल रही है. यहाँ पे वो क्या ऐसा बड़ा काम करने वाले जिससे हमारी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था को खतरा हो सकता है?
Have you heard that? He's saying कि उनसे हमारी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था को क्या खतरा हो सकता है? वो ऐसा क्या कर सकते हैं? They are the ones, because the Bharatiya Janata Party is sensing a massive defeat in Delhi. That is why they are abusing the Purvanchalis. That is why they are labeling Punjabis as terrorists. That is why they are distributing money, distributing shoes, distributing gold chains, and are resorting to hooliganism.
Shazia said that you are twisting. Mr. Pawar, Shazia said that you are twisting it to impute motive, saying that it is attributed to all Punjabis, whereas the question that's being asked is, why are so many government cars of Punjab roaming around in Delhi?
Mr. Zakka, I have played the video in which he is clearly saying कि हजारों गाड़ियां पंजाब से आई हुई हैं और वो पता नहीं ऐसा क्या करेंगे 26 जनवरी को. This is what Mr. Pravesh Verma is saying.
Okay.
We are the ones who are acting within bounds of law, and it is the Bharatiya Janata Party who is blatantly violating the law.
He's citing your leader, Mr. Verma, who is also a candidate against Mr. Kejriwal in New Delhi, saying that thousands of cars are coming from Punjab. पता नहीं क्या करेंगे 26 जनवरी के पहले. What does that mean?
I mean, I don't get it, Zakka. Either a man is clearly naive and is short on comprehension, and he can't figure out as to what is being asked of him, or he's just muddying the waters, just throwing more and more muck, ki gandagi karo, make everything ugly, and mess it all up, which is their USP, and it's very sad. It's really sad. I mean, this is,
why don't you apologize to the Punjabis, Ms. Shazia?
The dignity of Purvanchalis, or be quiet, sir. It's me. So, this is, it could be from Punjab, it could be from Jammu and Kashmir, it could be from Kerala, it could be from anywhere. But the fact of the matter is that we have seen on 26th January a lot of things happen, and it's a sensitive time of the year where we need to safeguard and protect our interests. And with the Republic Day around the corner, and we know what has happened, there are those elements everywhere. It's just nothing to do with Punjab or Punjabi. So stop doing that. Stop playing this dirty game. It's quite disgusting that you keep doing it. You know, Punjabiyon ko bol diya, Purvanchaliyon ko bol diya. Why do you keep doing this? I mean, we are a civilized state. We care. We care for Punjabis. We care for Haryanvis. We care for UPites. We care for Kerala. Friends and brothers from Kerala and everywhere. So I don't know why do you keep doing this all the time and using every concern that is serious and make it about a caste or a community or a region. It's quite disgusting, by the way.
In my opinion, these are all sideshows. The fundamental question before Delhi voters is, has your life improved in the last 10 years under the Aam Aadmi Party government? Yes or no? If it has improved, there is reason for another mandate. If it is not improved, then there is no reason to vote back the incumbent. No party is talking about that, including your party, I'm afraid to say so.
No, I'm sorry, Zakka. If you look at the forefront leaders of the Indian National Congress, be it Mr. Sandeep Dixit, be it Mr. Ajay Makan, be it Mr. Devendra Yadav, everyone is out there talking about the infrastructural collapse. They're talking about the 10% fall in the class 10th passing percentage, the failure of their education model, the failure of their health model, because so many vacancies, so much unemployment, but so many vacancies in the health sector.
The AAP's contention is LG is throwing a spanner in their works. LG is not making them, is not helping them complete their works. That's the AAP's defense.
Sheila ji was 15 years the Chief Minister of Delhi. She never cried that nobody is not letting me work. Sheila ji was 15 years the Chief Minister of Delhi. 5 years with Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji as the Prime Minister of India. Correct. She never cried that I am not able to work. You have been elected, it is your duty to work. You have not been elected to cry and do event management and marketing all the time. And this time the people of Delhi will give you a reply through votes. By making Mr. Kejriwal also lose the MLA election.
All right, 30 seconds. Anmol has to wrap up after this. I quickly have to go to the next segment. Yes, 30 seconds.
Zakka, it's the Honorable Prime Minister who has very categorically admitted that he is against the freebies. In their first manifesto, they have declared that they'll stop the Mohalla clinic services in Delhi. In their second manifesto, they have promised to end the free education which the Delhi government is providing to the 18 lakh students of Delhi.
Lie?
And today, the Honorable Central Minister Prahlad Joshi, he has very clearly said that free electricity will be stopped. So this is their only intention. This is their only aim.
Sooner or later, you will have to
Bharatiya
speak
Janata
the
Party has been unable to provide these services in 22 states in which they are governing today.
Thank you very much to Anmol Pawar, to Shazia Ilmi and to Gautam Seth. Of course, the people of Delhi, at the end of the day, as they say, Janta Janardan, in about 10 days' time, they get to decide who will rule them for the next 5 years. Of course, Delhi has its own peculiar issues, being not a full state and this whole clash between the state government and the central government appointee. But we'll see if any of this changes over the next 5 years. Let's now shift focus from Delhi to Mumbai, where Saif Ali Khan was discharged from the Lilavati hospital yesterday, 6 days after the attack that happened on him at his residence in the early hours of the 16th of January. While he was recuperating, he met Bhajan Singh Rana, who was the auto driver who took him to the hospital after he was stabbed 6 times at his home. In the picture, Saif Ali Khan is seen smiling as he stands beside the auto driver. The actor can be seen resting his hands around his shoulder while he poses for the camera, both Bhajan Singh and Saif Ali Khan. With Saif's recovery now almost entirely all right, to the extent that he has now walked back in fine form, one would argue. The focus now shifts entirely to the investigation in the case. Remember, there's one accused who's been nabbed. He has to be produced back in court in a couple of days. And the Mumbai police have said that the accused, Shariful Islam Shehzad, who's in custody till the 24th of January, that is later this week. So another 48 hours they have to piece together the motive, the remains of the weapon that was used by the accused person, and of course, the clothes that he was wearing, the corroborative evidence to prove that this was the man who indeed attacked Saif Ali Khan in the wee hours of 16th of January. But there are many gaps in the police's investigation. which needs to be complete before he is produced again in court in a couple of days' time. And these are some of the gaps that the Mumbai police need to come clean on. And perhaps maybe in court in a couple of days' time, they will have to explain why there are these glaring loopholes or gaps. Number one, the cops claim that the security guards at Saif Ali Khan's building were asleep when the attacker entered, and he did so by jumping in from the compound wall of the adjacent building. Question is there any evidence? Is there any CCTV or any eyewitnesses who actually saw the attacker scaling the compound wall? As per the statements of Saif's staff, the accused was locked in but left via the same duct that he came through, the same AC duct that he used to get into the house. He used that same duct to get out of the house. Now again, the CCTV footage that was released by the police shows one man walking out calmly through the fire exit without any panic. It was the timestamp on the CCTV footage at the fire exit says 2:33 a.m. Is this the same man as the one who's been arrested? There have been a lot of people who have put the two pictures together and said and used facial recognition software and said there is no similarity between the faces of the two individuals, the one who's been arrested and the one whose image has been captured on CCTV. The police have said that the accused changed clothes, he slept in a bus stop until 7 a.m. the next day, he bought food, bought paratha and water bottle and then paid for that using UPI. Why have the police not been able to recover the clothes he was wearing when the crime happened, even after a full 6 days? Shariful Islam was arrested after a 3-day intense manhunt. Finally, he was apprehended from Thane. If the police did all that they could, as swiftly as they could, why was the investigating officer changed mid-investigation? The investigation officer was changed just a couple of days ago. Why? What was the pressing hurry to do that change? Now, in the statement to the police, Saif Ali Khan's staff have said that his son Ibrahim was the one who took him to the hospital in an auto rickshaw. Why did the Leelavati doctors then claim that Taimur also accompanied and injured Saif Ali Khan while he was brought to hospital? Now, the big question is, what happens next in this investigation? Remember, the Mumbai police have to submit whatever evidence they have found so far to the police on Friday when they have to produce the accused once again in court. The police are yet to record Saif Ali Khan's statement, even though from the pictures yesterday, he seemed hale and hearty. He seemed to be walking in fine shape. There's no reason why his statement has not been recorded yet. Reportedly today, the police have sent him an intimation asking him when he is free so that his statement can be recorded. I wonder if they would extend the same courtesy to other people who are victims of a crime. Number two, the cops are yet to recover the piece of weapon. Remember, we were told that 2.5 inches of the hexa blade or the knife that the attacker used, 2.5 inches, was stuck inside Saif's body. That's what the doctors in Leelavati operated him for. What happens to the rest of that weapon? Where is that weapon? And unless you're able to show the weapon in a crime, then it becomes very difficult to prove that this is the accused person who actually carried out that crime without being able to show the weapon that was used to carry out the crime. Now, also, no action so far against any of the security guards who were caught napping on the job. Now, there is 24/7 round-the-clock security. We believe you need to have biometric access to enter the building. None of these people have been punished so far, either by the police or by the building authorities where Saif Ali Khan resides. The accused custody ends on Friday. There is no certainty. The police have only so far said that the only motive seems to be burglary, the only motive seems to be theft, and yet not one paisa has gone out of Saif Ali Khan's home. Now, while the police find the missing pieces of this jigsaw puzzle, fans and family are happy that Saif is safe and he's finally back home. The auto driver heaved a sigh of relief as well, knowing that he could help the actor and his family in their time of need.
आप मुंबई में कितने साल से?
जी मैं तो 15-20 साल से हूँ।
15-20 साल में किसी भी सेलिब्रिटी उसको इतने नजदीक से देखा कि फोटो खिंचाई?
जी नहीं, अभी तक किसी सेल्फी के साथ यानी कि स्टार के साथ कभी फोटो नहीं खिंचाई सर।
जब ऑटो में गए थे तो मीटर डाउन किया था, हड़बड़ी में इस पैनिक सिचुएशन में लोग बिल या फिर जो फेयर है वो दे नहीं पाते हैं।
तो मैंने भी मीटर को देखा नहीं, मैं तो डाल के लेके गया था। फिलहाल मैं भी नहीं देखा जी सैफ अली खान है और मीटर देंगे, तो उन्होंने ऐसे कर दिया। मैंने ठीक है जो भी है, मैं भी ऐसे कर दिया। मैंने चलो ठीक है जो भी है ठीक है।
तब कुछ नहीं लगा कि नुकसान हो गया है?
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं। मैं सोचा मैंने चलो आज जो है मैं आज टाइम से पहुँचा दिया, आज जो भी है तो मेरे को थोड़ा अच्छा भी लगा कि हाँ चलो ठीक है, किसी को टाइम पे पहुंचा दिया, स्टेशन आ गया। उनके बाद फिर लेट के आराम से ऐसा करके फिर वो अंदर चले गए। बस इतनी खुशी हुई। मैं चलो स्टार है तो अच्छा ही है।
तो कल नुकसान की भरपाई हुई कि नहीं कुछ?
नहीं यहाँ वही है, शिल्पी मिल गई जो भी है। अब बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मेरे को सर।
It's quite amazing, isn't it? The auto driver claiming he couldn't, in the panic and in the rush, he couldn't ask for any money to Saif Ali Khan's family while he was rushed to hospital. The attack on Saif Ali Khan by the suspected Bangladeshi national has now prompted the Maharashtra government to set up a special investigation team to tackle that very issue of Bangladeshi illegal infiltrators into the state. In a letter addressed to all divisional commissioners and district collectors, the state government has instructed officials to collaborate with the SIT to combat illegal immigration and to tighten security measures. The SIT will work closely with the district authorities to identify and to curb all illegal immigration. Now, here's what the mandate of the SIT is. The Special Investigation Team has been tasked to probe all birth certificates that have been issued to illegal immigrants in the state of Maharashtra over the last 10 plus years. The DIG in Nashik is the one who has been chosen by the state government to head the SIT and to spearhead the probe into all birth and death certificates that have been issued to illegal migrants in Maharashtra. The SIT was formed on a complaint by the BJP's former MP, Mr. Kirit Somaiya. Mr. Somaiya, in a letter to the state government, had alleged that fake birth certificates were being issued in a rampant fashion to illegal Bangladeshis who had come into Maharashtra over the last 10 years or so. The government, in its letter, has asked all district collectors, all subdivisional magistrates to stop issuing any delayed or late birth certificate. It has to happen within a week of the record of the birth in a hospital, and with the hospital documents, the DC or the STM has to issue a birth certificate within a week of a birth being recorded. Earlier, the district collectors, the STMs could issue delayed birth certificates even after months if an application was moved later on and if the applicant could cite sufficient cause for why the delay had happened. Now, this decision follows a complaint, like I said, by BJP leader and former member of parliament Kirit Somaiya, who highlighted illegal Bangladeshi Rohingyas and what he called the birth certificate scam. This is what Mr. Somaiya's letter to the state government says. It makes a whole bunch of claims. Claim number one, that as many as 4,000 Bangladeshis were issued fake birth certificates in Malegaon. He also goes on to claim that the birth certificates were given on the basis of fake documents, fake hospital records that have been submitted by these individuals concerned. Claim number three, that illegals are misusing the provision of late or delayed application by taking advantage for weeks, months, some even for years. Claim number four, that the fake birth certificate racket is also happening in Amravati, in a place called Anjangaon Surji. And claim number five, he says, more than 1,100 fake birth certificates have been issued to Rohingyas and illegal Bangladeshis just in the last 6 months alone. Meanwhile, it's not just Kirit Somaiya, it's not just the BJP or its leaders who are raising this red flag. Shiv Sena Member of Parliament and former South Bombay MP Milind Deora has also called for a comprehensive audit of all illegal Bangladeshi immigrants who are residing in Maharashtra. Milind Deora, in his letter to the Maharashtra Chief Minister, Mr. Fadnavis, has emphasized the urgent need for strict measures to ensure the safety and security of citizens. He has said in that letter that the recent tragedy involving Saif Ali Khan, in which the lone accused who's been apprehended so far is allegedly an illegal Bangladeshi national. Mr. Deora's letter highlights the pressing need to address that very issue of illegal immigration. He says that Maharashtra's safety and security must come first. He has also suggested imposing stringent penalties on staffing agencies who fail to verify the authenticity of documents before employing individuals.
जहां से भी आते हो उनको यहाँ ढूंढकर उठाकर वापस भेजना ये हमारा कर्तव्य है। तो जो पश्चिम बंगाल से आया, आसाम से, सबको वापस भेजने का काम ये महाराष्ट्र की सरकार को करना है।
ये जिम्मेदारी गृह मंत्री की है महाराष्ट्र के, जो देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी है। तो ये जो हमारे सांसद मित्र है, उसने जाकर सबसे पहले मुख्यमंत्री जी को कहना चाहिए और गृह मंत्री केंद्रीय।
Now, it is no secret that India was plundered under the British Raj, but a new report by Oxfam throws up some sensational details. The report is called Takers Not Makers. It was released just hours before the start of the annual World Economic Forum in Davos. The Oxfam report highlights the legacies of inequality and pathologies of plunder that were pioneered during the time of historical colonialism, continuing to shape modern-day lives. The report also cited the creation of a deeply unequal world, a world that was torn apart by division based on caste, religion and gender, a world that continues to systematically extract wealth from the global south to primarily benefit the richest people in the global north. So this is what the report says, some staggering numbers in there. It is cited that Great Britain extracted what would be the modern day equivalent of 64.82 trillion US dollars from over a century of colonialism between 1765 and 1900. And what is even more staggering is that 34 trillion, almost 34 trillion out of this 66 trillion went to the richest 10%, the aristocracy in Britain during the colonial era. Now, this amount of money, 64 trillion, is enough to carpet London in notes of 50 British pounds almost 4 times over. The Big Ben, the British Parliament, Westminster, the entire city can be covered 4 times over with British 50-pound notes. That is the amount of money that $64 trillion is. It is twice the GDP of the United States of America, which is the richest country in the world. The report also emphasizes the enduring impact of colonialism on contemporary society as well as economies. It illustrates how historical injustices continue to shape modern-day labor markets and socio-economic structures. Now, this has become such a hot topic, such a hot-button issue that recently Coldplay's lead singer, Chris Martin, and Coldplay are on a tour of India. In his first concert in Mumbai that happened just a few days ago, he thanked the crowd in Mumbai for showcasing the British band and showering the British band with so much love, despite the fact that there was so much bad blood and colonial history between India and Britain. The video, which has gone viral since, saw Chris Martin asking for forgiveness from the crowd that had gathered there for his concert, the concert of Coldplay. He said, "We thank the Indian crowd for welcoming us despite us coming from Great Britain and despite what Great Britain did to you during the colonial Raj."
It's amazing to us that you welcome us even though we are from Great Britain. Thank you for forgiving us for all of the bad things Great Britain has done and welcoming us to your home.
Well, this is not the first time. That was Chris Martin from his Mumbai concert a few days ago. But it's not the first time that this issue of Britain having to pay reparations to India for colonial rule has been raked up. Way back in 2015, almost 10 years ago, at a debate at the Oxford Union, Congress Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor had delivered a speech supporting the motion that Britain owes reparations to her former colonies, most of all to India. His passionate argument went viral, and it's been talked about ever since. This is an issue that has been raised both diplomatically and otherwise with Britain, but to no avail. Britain, of course, refuses to not just pay reparations, forget about that, but even acknowledge or apologize for the ills that have been perpetrated during colonial rule.
India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. Meanwhile, colonialists like Robert Clive bought their rotten boroughs in England on the proceeds of their loot in India, while taking the Hindi word loot into their dictionaries as well as their habits. What is required, it seems to me, is accepting the principle that reparations are owed, Personally, I'd be quite happy if it was £1 a year for the next 200 years after the last 200 years of Britain and India. Thank you very much, Madam President.
So remember, this is an ongoing debate between Britain and India. Forget about paying reparations. Britain has not even apologized for its ills during colonial rule, or for slave trade, or for the tens of thousands who were killed in various imperial countries during that colonial rule. So much so, last October, when the Commonwealth Summit happened, the Commonwealth meeting happened, one of the first to be chaired by the new king, King Charles, there was a lot of chatter about King Charles wanting to apologize for Britain's omissions and commissions during colonial rule to all the countries it had colonized over the world over 300 years between the 17th and the 20th centuries. But no apology came through. In fact, even in 2019, which marked the 100th anniversary of the disastrous Jallianwala Bagh massacre, which happened in 1919, in which over 1,000 innocent Indian civilians died, there was a lot of talk that Britain needs to apologize for one of the worst massacres that happened in its colonial rule. Britain was not forthcoming. Yes, when Rishi Sunak was Prime Minister a few years ago, he did acknowledge that yes, Britain did commit grave errors and acts of omission and commission, but he stopped short of apologizing for Imperial Britain's past mistakes and past crimes, certainly. All right, from Britain, let's now move on to the other side of the Atlantic, where there's another pressing story. US President Donald Trump has been sued by a coalition of more than 20 Democrat states, as well as civil rights groups, over his executive action which ends birthright citizenship in the United States. Several lawsuits have come up within hours of Trump taking office and passing that executive order. He is hoping that this will reshape American immigration, but that has brought the debate of the fate of millions of immigrants, particularly Indian immigrants who are either on a work visa like an H-1B or even a student visa like an F-1 or F-2 visa, and their families, and particularly the impact that it would have on children during their stay in the United States. So as he has stirred up this citizenship debate, this birthright citizenship debate, Donald Trump is trying to make nice on the one hand and yet be tough on the other. He has backed the H-1B program, which is a temporary work visa for techies, a large part of it which goes to Indian techies. Trump has said that he very much likes competent people coming into the United States, and therefore he does not want to stop the H-1B visa program. He also added that the H-1B visa program will be used to get the best of people into the United States. But at the same time, he has taken away a critical incentive for H-1B folks, particularly young people who go into the US, who plan to start a family. He's taken away birthright citizenship. But this is Donald Trump speaking at the Oval Office on the H-1B controversy.
I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use the program. Maitre d's, wine, experts, even waiters, high quality waiters.
All right, so Trump, on the one hand, says he welcomes H-1B and that he's employed a lot of people on H-1B. But on the other hand, he is removing birthright citizenship for kids who will be born in the United States starting the 19th of February 2025. What is birthright citizenship? Is it just the US that follows it? What about other countries around the world who follow birthright citizenship? And if he were to remove that, if this stands the test of law, remember there are a whole bunch of lawsuits challenging this legally, but if it were to stand the test of law, then what happens to tens of thousands of Indian American families, particularly those who are on H-1B visas, and their children? Here's a detailed explainer.
Our country is built on immigrants, and the reason we have birthright citizenship is to encourage people to move here.
I feel almost like it's un-American. I mean, we've been a country that has welcomed people.
Birthright citizenship in the United States is established by the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was ratified in 1868. It says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. This principle, which is known as jus soli, or the right of the soil, grants automatic citizenship to anyone who is born on US soil, regardless of the immigration status of their parents. But now, US President Donald Trump has passed an executive order which will revoke birthright citizenship, particularly targeting children who are born in the US to non-US citizen parents. His executive order, titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, hopes to limit citizenship to those whose parents are either lawful permanent residents or US citizens. The proposed changes would affect not just undocumented immigrants, but also legal immigrants, including many who are on H-1B visas or other temporary visas. The Indian American community, which numbers over 5 million in the United States, according to the latest figures by the US Census Bureau, will be particularly badly affected by this change. Of these 5 million, about a third, which is close to 2 million, are those who are born in the US, which means they are legal American citizens. Another two-thirds, a large majority of the Indian Americans in the US, are either naturalized citizens who've lived there for a number of years, or those who are on permanent residency, like the ones who have green cards and who can legally work in the United States. But a large number are also on temporary work visas. Many Indian nationals are H-1B visa holders who may have children who were born in the US after they migrated to the US. If Donald Trump's order takes effect starting next month, then the future children of these immigrants will no longer automatically receive American citizenship. This could discourage Indian families from immigrating or staying in the United States because this would complicate the legal status of their children. It could also affect their future opportunities, particularly when it comes to those kids going to college. There are anywhere between 350 to 500,000 Indian techies who are currently in the United States on an H-1B or some other form of temporary work visa. For Indian tech professionals on H-1B planning to have children in the United States, this executive order by Donald Trump is a significant challenge. So any child who's born after the 19th of February 2025 would not gain automatic citizenship. That would also complicate their access to benefits, whether it is in-state tuition when they go to college, or even qualify for federal aid for education. Now, this is a big factor which helps immigrant families, particularly those of Indian techies who are on work visas, because college education, as you know, in the US is a very expensive affair. Now, this change could also lead to many families reconsidering their plans for having children in the US and potentially opting for countries which have a more favorable immigration policy.
Sadly, this order and many others come as no shock. Trump is following through on a campaign promise. Today, I'm also following through on a promise to take action if Trump violates the law and infringes on our rights, on your rights. As he did today with what is, frankly, an un-American executive order. I have one message for President Trump. I'll see you in court.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
The other thing that Trump's executive action has done is that any child who was born to non-citizen parents, upon turning 21, could then legally file to bring their parents and make them legal citizens of the United States. Trump's executive action nips that in the bud as well. As of now, more than 20 states in the United States and a couple of cities have filed lawsuits against Trump's executive order. It does indicate that there is a strong legal opposition which could challenge the implementation of this executive order. Legal experts say that any attempt to revoke birthright citizenship through an executive order is likely to face significant hurdles in court because of constitutional protections that are offered by the 14th Amendment. In the United States, and as per US law, an amendment of the Constitution can only be revoked if it is passed by two-thirds majority in both houses of Congress, A president, through mere executive action, cannot change or revoke a constitutional amendment. The principle of birthright citizenship was upheld in the 1898 Supreme Court case of United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which confirmed that children who were born in the US to immigrant parents, regardless of their immigration status, are indeed US citizens. Now, the gentleman, Wong Kim Ark, was born in San Francisco in 1873 to Chinese immigrant parents who were laborers. In 1895, he made a visit to China, after which he was denied re-entry back into the United States under what was then prevalent and called the Chinese Exclusion Act. As per the Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese laborers were prohibited from immigrating and barred from becoming US citizens. Wong argued in his case that as a person who was born in the United States, he was entitled to citizenship under the 14th Amendment. The Supreme Court, back in 1898, ruled in a 6-2 majority decision that Wong Kim Ark was indeed a US citizen. And ever since, anyone who is born in the United States is given automatic citizenship and constitutional protection under the 14th Amendment. But it's not just the United States. There are many countries around the world which follow the principle of jus soli, or the rights of the soil, which automatically grants citizenship to anybody who's born on their territory. In North America itself, other than the United States, Canada too has similar birthright citizenship. So any child who's born on Canadian soil is granted Canadian citizenship. In addition, in Latin America, countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico also follow the jus soli principle and grant automatic citizenship. Now, in Europe, in contrast, there are many countries who grant citizenship based on the nationality of the parents rather than the location of the birth of the child. Germany, for example, primarily uses a principle called jus sanguinis, which means that at least one parent has to be a German citizen before the child can become a German citizen. Similarly, Japan too grants citizenship based on Japanese nationality of at least one parent. China too follows a strict policy of jus sanguinis. But many countries have also reformed their birthright citizenship laws. Many countries like Australia, for example, it has shifted from unconditional birthright citizenship to a conditional one. The condition is that at least one parent has to be a citizen or a permanent resident. This law was changed in 1986. In the UK, which previously offered birthright citizenship, has now tightened its rules, particularly for children of non-citizen parents. Either one parent has to be a British citizen or a permanent resident of Britain. Or a Britain-born child can then eventually become a British citizen later, either if they live in Britain till the child is 10 years old, or either if the two parents becomes a legal settler in Britain in the interim period. Now, overturning a constitutional amendment through executive order in America is highly unlikely and perhaps not even feasible. Such a change, like I said, would require a constitutional amendment process involving 2/3 majority from both houses of Congress. Not just that, it then further has to be ratified by at least 3/4 of all state legislatures. Birthright citizenship has been a cornerstone of American civil rights for the last 150 years. It ensures inclusivity and equal protection under the law for every single US citizen. Trump's proposal to end this practice could significantly impact millions, particularly those within the Indian American community and those who are H-1B visa holders and their children. Now it is over to the courts of America to deliver their verdict and for millions of immigrant families to deliver justice. Let's go across to CNN News 18. Sanjay Suri, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. He was there a couple of days ago for the Trump inauguration. Sanjay, so this whole thing about Trump's executive action scrapping or proposing to scrap birthright citizenship, just how much of a concern is that amongst the Indian American community, particularly H-1B visa holders, young couples who may be planning to have children in the near future?
Well, this is going to have a very long-term consequence, and also in the immediate, because there's a very large number of H-1B visa holders who are of Indian origin. In fact, they are Indian citizens. And let's bear in mind that almost 3 in 4 H-1B visa holders are Indians. the companies in the US can't have enough of them. They are simply superb at their job, excellent with innovation and also enterprise. So they are much sought after, and they are really feeding the US growth at the cutting edge. Now, when they see that any child born to parents after February the 19th will no longer automatically be a US citizen, that's going to be a very strong disincentive, to put it mildly. The fact is that after February the 19th, a child will not automatically get citizenship unless either of the parents is a US citizen or a green card holder. So this is a consequence that will be felt in the immediate, but also for a lot of aspiring Indians who are planning to come to the US on such visas and take up such jobs, and these jobs are on offer. They'll have to think twice because their families can't settle there. They'll have to just come with a view to going back. It's like going to the Gulf and going back. America was meant to be different.
Sanjay, the other thing, of course, is this is an executive order. I believe already 24 odd states have gone in legal challenge against this. Some cities have, some individuals, including one mother who's expectant over the next few months, has also challenged this legally. Are they on sound legal footing?
Well, they certainly believe they are, and there are two of these major cases. The big one is in Massachusetts. The other one has been filed in New Hampshire, and that arises from the case that you just spoke of. Their plank is the 14th Amendment. Under the 14th Amendment, a right to citizenship is guaranteed at birth, or so they say. The government says that this is not a blanket right, that this is something where exceptions certainly will be possible. And it's all about the interpretation of the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution. And that's going to be an argument that's going to be heard at some length now, both in the court in Massachusetts and in New Hampshire, and without doubt, eventually it will go to the Supreme Court. So this is a matter of interpretation. The government, in passing the executive order, seems to have done some sort of homework, and they do believe that they are within their rights to cancel this right. On the other hand, there are a lot of groups who are going to challenge it and have begun to challenge it, and this is led by a number of Democrat-led states, and also you have Washington, D.C. and San Francisco and some others joining in that action.
And finally, you know, Trump, all through his campaign and this whole issue about immigration, he had always made a distinction between what he called illegal immigrants, undocumented workers, and legal ones. In this case, by ending birthright citizenship, even for children of legal, people who are there legally with temporary work visas or whatever, how is he blurring the distinction between the two? And at the same time, just last night, he had pretty favorable things to say about the H-1B, saying that he's used it in his own sort of businesses and he welcomes it and he wants more competent people to come into the US. How do you square these two, seemingly contradictory positions?
Well, to tell you the truth, Zakka, they don't square. Trump seems to make statements that don't quite square with one another. On the one hand, as you point out, he has been saying he's supportive of the H-1B visa. He believes that it does a lot to put the US at the cutting edge of innovation and that he would welcome such migrants. He said he's making the distinction between this and illegal migration. In his intent, he no doubt is, but the consequences of this new action will be that it will undercut the stated intentions to include the best from around the world in the US innovation and business enterprises through the H-1B visa. And of course, when we see from around the world, it's Indians who are at the forefront of getting these H-1B visas. On the other hand, when people realize that their families can't really be in the US as US citizens, be here legally for any length of time, they're not going to be very keen to come and take up such offers. They will look elsewhere, and there'll be people around the world who will be very keen to take them up and to include them in their workforce. So a lot of intentions, a lot of statements, they simply do not square.
All right, Sanjay, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this plays out both for Indian techies. A lot of them are H-1B visa holders. prospective children, of course, will get affected, because up until now, they would get automatic U.S. citizenship under the birthright citizenship 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which Trump, through his executive action, has now declared null and void. Quick break here on the program, but news and updates continue right here on Brass Tacks. Right on the other side, we'll join you in just a moment.
States, he has now weighed in on the ongoing debate over the H-1B foreign guest workers visa, saying that he preferred both sides of the argument, while also noting that he liked very competent people coming to our country, is what he said. He signed an executive order that targets multiple immigration laws, including the long-standing principle of birthright citizenship. Now, this move has sparked intense debate and is expected to face legal challenges. At the heart of the controversy is the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which grants citizenship to all individuals born in the United States. However, Trump's executive order seeks to reinterpret this amendment. It asserts that children born to undocumented parents are not entitled to automatic citizenship. Meanwhile, 22 Democratic ruled states on Tuesday have taken legal action against the executive order aimed to end a century-old immigration practice. Listen in to what the U.S. president has to say.
I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use the program. Maitre d's, wine, experts, even waiters, high quality waiters.
That it's another important question where it's hard to give you an answer because of the uncertainty of what Trump is going to do on any given point. There's no doubt when we consider the problem of illegal immigration that the problem is severe and needs to be fixed, and Trump's position on that is very popular. What people don't talk about enough is the legal immigration system, which is hopelessly gridlocked. It's very politically difficult to change. My own view is that we should welcome additional immigrants. It's a source of strength for the United States. The visa program is a way to bring people in. They may decide to return to their home country. They may decide to apply for citizenship in the United States. But I think it's a very positive program for the United States. And at some point, we need to find the political will to allow more legal immigration. It's a question of, I think, the long-range future for the country. It's just important for any sovereign state to say we're going to do it in an orderly fashion, and we're certainly not doing that now.
All right, Siddharth Mishra joins me live on the broadcast. Siddharth, I think at the heart of this entire move is also one moot question. Is Donald Trump now equating illegal immigrants in the United States with the legal ones? And what is this going to mean for H-1B visa holders, especially the ones from India?
Well, that's absolutely right, Akanksha. In fact, there are many aspects to this entire immigration, U.S. immigration policy. In fact, in the run-up to the polls, Akanksha, if you remember, Trump has always spoken about the illegal immigration to U.S. In fact, he has also been against his supporters largely. His voter base is perhaps their demand has always been that there should be a strict policy should be put in place so that the outsiders should not take away the jobs here in United States. So that's what his supporters, his traditional supporters, those who have been voting for him since 2017, then in 2020. But it's a very tight situation for Trump, Akanksha, because it's not like signing an executive order or maybe making a statement that 18,000 Indians will be deported to India, because it's more this issue is more sensitive, and there is a constant pressure from the tech lobby, the business lobby on Donald Trump. So today also, if you see Akanksha, he has given mixed signaling when it comes to the H-1B visa. So it means that he has still not decided that what needs to be done, what steps needs to be taken, because here he has to keep the tech bros also happy. At the same time, he also have to do some things, take some actions perhaps, so that it can satisfy his traditional voters, those who voted for him 2017, then 2020, and then this time around. So that is also a big challenge for Trump, and this is the reason that, you know, he said that he likes both sides of this story, and his supporters, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, have openly been supporting H-1Bs.
Many thanks to you. He has now weighed in on the ongoing debate over the H-1B foreign guest workers visa, saying that he preferred both sides of the argument, while also noting that he liked very competent people coming to our country, is what he said. He signed an executive order that targets multiple immigration laws, including the long-standing principle of birthright citizenship. Now, this move has sparked intense debate and is expected to face legal challenges. At the heart of the controversy is the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which grants citizenship to all individuals born in the United States. However, Trump's executive order seeks to reinterpret this amendment. It asserts that
Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
We're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, brought to you by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers,